Hey, everybody, welcome to the Soul Rehab Project. This is Sarah Saxby, and this is the podcast where we talk about truth because everything in our life has been a lie. It always makes me laugh. Today's episode, I want to talk about what is going on in the world today, why everything looks like the wheels are falling off, and why the world seems like so unsafe, where security is coming from, where are we going to get security? Where are we going to find safety in a world that has turned upside down? That's what I want to talk about today. Now, I've said this before, but I'm not a polished speaker. One thing that's super frustrating for me is that I have so many notes and things that I want to say, and there's so many things, but I speak from the current moment. So a lot of times it's not organized, but you have to know that you are getting information that's current for me. I'm like pulling the current information down. But sometimes in my head, I feel like it's not everything I want to say. It's not how I want to say it. I wish I could say more. I wish I could organize my thoughts, but my brain doesn't work like that. So I wake up, I have something in my head. I make all kinds of notes. I even make notes in the middle of the night. I sit here and I look at my notebook and I realize that I just need to turn on the freaking camera and start recording because that's how it works. I can't organize it enough, but I do want to talk about how the world is no longer safe, or it doesn't appear to be safe anymore. Things are crazy. There's things that are presenting themselves physically, right? We see a lot of external stuff that's going on. But there's always a deeper meaning for everything. And that's what I want to talk about. The reason why today and the things that we're going through today are different than any other time in history is because there's a relocation of authority. Authority is moving from external to internal. And anybody who has followed me, I always say that everything in our lives is to point us away from ourselves. Everything. We're meant to look for a partner, right? Look for your soulmate. Once you get married, your life will click and everything will fall into place, but it doesn't. So we think there's something wrong with us. That's just one small thing. But the truth is, we have everything that we need, but everything in our world exists to turn us away from ourselves. And once we start to find ourselves again, once we begin to remember who we really are, that's when everything changes. And I don't mean there's people who are going to be like, yeah, I know how strong I am now, and blah. That's not what I mean. When you know, you know. Because it's not this external ego thing with, yeah, I look in the mirror and I'm like, I'm proud of you. And no, that's not what I'm talking about. It's internal authority. It's remembering who you are and you don't need anything external. So things are turning upside down in the world today because authority is moving from external to internal. And those systems that have externally controlled us can no longer reach the place where decisions are made because now they're being made internally. So there's a lot of hatred out there. The system is collapsing because they are losing authority, because authority is being transferred internally. And of course, it's not going to go quietly. Of course not. But we are gaining our power back internally. Internally, we're starting to remember who we are on our own. That is the same for safety and protection. We used to look for safety and protection on the outside, right? Something outside of the government's going to save me, right? My spouse is going to save me. My identity, my wisdom, my teacher, whatever. We're always looking for something outside to protect us. Safety is no longer going to be provided by the world. It's going to be provided from alignment. The more you are aligned with who you really are, with your soul, the more you will be protected.